have your flotation device on then.
I don't think so. We're not going to have a problem.
What time is it there, Martin?
Here in Monado, it's 1:30 p.m. a.m. Excuse me, 1:30 a.m. Yeah.
You didn't have to dress for vacation, Martin.
It's better than what I did have on, put it that way. Everybody have a good holiday.
Yeah. Good morning, Bunny. Where are you and what time is it?
It's 11:30 and I'm at sea and we're heading for Cabo San Lucas.
Ooh, okay.
We were in Colombia yesterday. And
is-
Costa Rica.
oh.
We were in Costa Rica yesterday.
Did you do the canal?
Oh yes, that was so
All right,
exciting.
we're gonna start the meeting. We're gonna start the meeting. Good morning, Happy New Year, and welcome to the first regular meeting for 2024 of the Board of Directors of the Golden Rain Foundation. It is a California not-profit mutual benefit corporation. The meeting is now called to order at 9:32, and we will have Director Millman lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Be seated.
First of all, let me acknowledge the media. And I guess since we're online, the media is here in one way or another. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Are there any adjustments to the minutes of December 4th, 5th, and December 21st, 2023? Hearing and seeing none, the minutes are approved. We'll have a report from the chair, and it's not a report, but it's essentially some opening remarks. And 2024 at Laguna Woods promises to be an eventful year. First, we're entering our 60th year. For me, it is amazing that the original developer's vision continues to be alive and vibrant, and that the succession of past residents have made the necessary investments to exist well into the future. Recently, I began looking back at some of the significant decisions made by the generations of residents that preceded us, and was amazed how these impacted the services and amenities that we take for granted today. I also realized that things have been constantly changing, and that pace of change is more rapid than at any time in our history. While I am at the time of my life where I don't need to change with the times, it does mean that I'm not impacted by it. The minimum wage. When I worked at McDonald's 62 years ago, it was $1 per hour. In 2014, the minimum wage in California was $8. In 2024, it will double to $16. Also, the minimum wage of professional workers must be, by law, proportionate to the hourly worker, which means as minimum hourly goes up, the minimum professional salary goes up. All right? And so fast food workers will get a $20 minimum per hour this year. Compensation, whether internal or with a vendor, is a critical component of our services and amenities, and changes on the outside will impact us at the village. Pickleball across the nation has taken off and is the fastest growing sport in America. In 2022, the Washington State named it the official sport of the state. Even our club in the village has grown to 538 members in 6.5 years. How will this change and growth impact the village? Cable TV, also known as broadcast or broadband TV, is quickly losing ground to streaming, and this phenomenon will continue to impact our broadband program availability and pricing. Streaming, whether we like it or not, is the future of on-screen programs. Since 30 years ago, we invested in our own village cable TV operation, we will have to make adjustments. My point is that while we live in a well-run and comfortable environment, we are not immune to the impacts of change that go on around us. We require continued consideration as to the future and the prudent investment that is required to maintain our value to current and future residents while continuing to provide sustained affordability. Welcome to 2024. Okay. With that, we'll go to item number 7, which is the CEO report.
Honorable President, members of the board, first I want to wish everyone a happy new year and hope it's an excellent year for everyone. This morning I'd like to share some key village updates with you. As we head into the new year, I want to remind everyone of the confidential services offered by our Social Services Division, as shown on the screen before you. These include comprehensive in-home assessments, resources and referrals to resources throughout Orange County, support groups, educational seminars, short and long-term care planning, counseling services, social isolation prevention, and a cognitive health program. Again, these services are offered confidentially to our residents, and the best way to reach social services is either to stop in to the office here on the first floor of the community center or to call 949-597-4267. Moving on to some holiday cleanup items, our landscaping services department will pick up Christmas trees on Friday, January 5th. Please contact resident services 48 hours prior to placing your tree by the curb. You can reach resident services at residentservices@vmsinc.org or by calling 949-597-4600. Discarded trees are ground into mulch and used in shrub beds throughout the community. Coming out of the holidays, we also want to remind residents about cardboard boxes. In the United States, approximately 80% of all products are sold and packaged in cardboard. While they are recyclable, paper and cardboard make up the largest component of our municipal solid waste stream. So residents are encouraged to dispose of cardboard properly by breaking down cardboard boxes and placing the material in the recycling container. This is an opportunity to be environmentally friendly and to give your neighbors equal opportunity to use the recycling bins. Bulky item pickup is also available. CRNR's bulky item pickup program picks up unwanted clutter weekly without having to call resident services for an appointment. Please place your items by your shared trash enclosure or on the curb where you put your personal trash and recycling carts. The items should be placed out between 7 p.m. the night before and 8 a.m. on pickup day. Car parts, construction, demolition, hazardous waste, and items that are not safely loaded into a vehicle by 2 people will not be accepted. Residents may also schedule a free door-to-door collection of household hazardous waste as needed. This includes home-generated sharps, household hazardous waste, and medicine waste. Services are provided by WM Curbside, Incorporated, under contract with the City of Laguna Woods. To make arrangements, please call WM Curbside at 800-449-7587. Free document shredding services are also available at Laguna Woods City Hall. To schedule an appointment, visit the City of Laguna Woods website and click on the blue Arrange Document Shredding button. You can also call City Hall at 949-639-0500. Proof of Laguna Woods residency is required, and there's a limit of no more than the equivalent of 3 13-gallon kitchen trash bags of documents per appointment. The Landscaping Services Department continues to offer weekly pickup of your gardening clippings. Please place the clippings close to the curb in a single pile. All requests must be made through resident services. Again, you can contact resident services at residentservices@vmsinc.org or 949-4600 by Thursday at noon for prompt pickup the following day. Requests after the deadline will be honored as soon as possible the following week. We also want to remind residents to sign up now for Southern California Edison outage alerts. Since planned and unplanned power outages happen at any time, Edison recommends village residents register to receive their alerts and updates. This can be done at sce.com/outage-center/outage-alerts. Other resources available at the SCE Outage Center includes the ability to view an outage map and to learn how to prepare for a power outage, including outage supplies and home preparation checklists. Residents are also encouraged to enroll in the village's Code Red system. VMS continually monitors information sources and communicates potential danger to our residents via Code Red emergency notification system. Code Red transmits brief, urgent messages to village residents as quickly as possible via phone, text, or email. To enroll in Code Red, please visit the village website and click on the black and red Code Red icon in the left-hand corner and fill out the form. Residents may also enroll in Code Red after logging into the resident portal or by requesting a hard copy form at the community center front desk. Lastly, Manor Alterations here in the community center reopens today with enhancements to better serve our residents' needs, including a new drop-down menu at the resident services check-in kiosk, visiting Windows 7 in resident services for over-the-counter needs, and visiting the spacious and ergonomic Manor Alterations office intake counter, which now features an accessible service station and tabletop for plan layout. And as a reminder, business hours are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that concludes my update this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Siobhan. Appreciate that. Are there any comments on the report, the CEO report? I just have one, and we had a blackout Friday before Christmas, and I went online, and sure enough, there it was, the blackout, and I was notified a short time after that, so on the website. So it does work. So I encourage everybody to sign up for that. Okay, next is the open forum. All right, and there are 3 minutes per speaker. At this time, members only may address the board of directors regarding items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of this board of directors. The board reserves the right to limit the total amount of time allotted to the open forum to 30 minutes. A member may speak only once during the forum. Speakers may not give their time to other people. There should be no audio or video recording by the attendees, and there should be, everybody should remain civil without any sort of rude comments. Members can attend the meeting by joining the Zoom link, which has been published, or calling 669-900-6833, or by emailing meeting@vmsinc.org. Okay, are there any open forum?
Yes, we have Chris Collins.
Okay.
Morning, Happy New Year. I'm Chris Collins, 3306Q, and I'm here to provide an update on the work of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Managing your digital assets. Have you selected an estate lawyer and thought about the details of your trust, but is that all you need to do? Actually, estate planning is a continuum, an ongoing process that begins while you are alive. While we hesitate to think about it, as we age, we also need to put a plan in place for the possibility of incapacity, and we need to think about more than our financial assets. Who will manage such things as our social media accounts like Facebook, airplane miles, personal records, many photos? In other words, the many things stored digitally on your computer or on the internet if you are physically or mentally unable. According to Debbie Dotson, the village's very own tech talk guru, planning for digital assets upon incapacitation is of paramount importance in today's digital world. As our lives become increasingly intertwined with technology, we must recognize the significance of safeguarding our digital presence and ensuring that our digital assets are properly managed in the event of incapacity, just like we would any other assets, and we need to make that plan. The latest episode of the Foundation of Laguna Woods series, Planning for the Inevitable, provides practical guidance for how to manage and protect your digital assets in the event of incapacity. Such planning will relieve potential stress and burden on ourselves and on our families. This episode aired on Village Television all during December. But if you want to view this broadcast on your own schedule, it's also available on the Foundation website, which is foundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org, under a special tab that says Planning for the Inevitable. This website section includes the YouTube links for this broadcast and our earlier ones on advanced directives, and estate planning. It also has an additional information on managing digital assets. If you have any questions about this topic or the upcoming broadcast, please contact the Foundation at 949-268-2246 or the Foundation at comline.com. For more information about the Foundation, please go to our website at thefoundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org. Please note that donations can also be made using PayPal or a credit card on the Foundation website. Thank you.
I apologize. I did not know we had to put our name on the list here.
You have to check in. Okay, are there any more comments from? Okay, all right. Okay, I guess there are no more comments from members? Okay, right, okay, we'll move on. Are there any responses? Okay.
My comment is in the spirit of the director training we just finished about what our obligations are and aren't. And I wanted to show, I'm going to show a little example. So Connie, if you would put up my email picture.
I'm sorry, is this in direct?
So we're going to do that during director comments. That's your portion, director
I
comments.
think, yeah.
Oh, you mean at the end of this?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably
Oh,
more,
okay.
yeah, this
All
is
right.
response to the members, as a, yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, are there any responses from the members that are traveling? Okay, good. All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Okay. And we'll go on and are there any items on the consent calendar? Okay. All right, okay. With the,
There's one.
yeah, the Finance Committee, yeah. All right, the consent calendar, with the recommendation from the Finance Committee, consistent with its statutory obligations, a subcommittee of the board consisting of the treasurer and at least one member of the board member reviewed and approved the preliminary Golden Ring Foundation financials for the month of November 2023, and by this vote ratifies such. So are there any amendments to the consent calendar? Okay. It's been moved. Second?
Second.
Okay. Moved in second. Are there any comments?
That we approve.
Okay.
Do we approve?
All right. All righty. We'll move on to item.
There are no objections.
Oh, it's been approved. If there are no objections, we'll move on to the next.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm looking
That's
at.
all right.
It's 11-1. Did I vote? I don't recall voting. Okay. All right, unanimous. All right, unfinished business. Item A, entertain a motion to approve the updated room rental fees and the fee process.
We've got an oral discussion for clubhouse renovation, 11A.
Listen. Oh, okay, I don't have an updated one. All right, I better look at it. All right. We're gonna have a discussion on the Clubhouse 1 renovation.
Just a simple update.
Manuel Goes and Allison.
Guy West today.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm happy to share the status of the Clubhouse 1 project. The contract was fully executed. Since then, plans were prepared and submitted to the city for plan review, so that's in process right now. The plan to start construction, it's going to be a 24-week construction process, and that is slated to start on March 4th, the first week of March. And then 24 weeks after that, we'll begin the reopening. Currently, as far as the facility closure goes, recreation staff is coordinating that effort. And in addition, the bus route is also being coordinated by General Services. There's some locations that have been identified, and they're working through the logistics on that. And right now, that's where we are on the project, and I'm just happy to give you that update. And I'm also happy to take questions, and I believe Allison is here if you have some recreation questions as well.
Any questions from the board? Yeah. Comments? Yvonne?
What areas are you looking at to make a new hub for our bus system?
So right now, we're looking at the annex parking that's adjacent to the library and Historic Society. So that is being looked at. That is the primary location right now.
John?
What's happening to the people that would meet there normally? I'd like to hear from Allison.
Okay.
Good morning and Happy New Year. I have a bunch of notes here. Our focus has been obviously on relocating the user groups, club activities, classes, emeritus classes, and trying to identify local alternatives for those who have no place to go. Staff has made great progress in making direct contact with the users, and about 70% have been relocated so far. They're still going strong. We have a bunch of smaller groups now, which we're trying to move to various locations. Many groups have been relocated to the Performing Arts Center, Clubhouse 6, and the Community Center. Obviously, Clubhouse 6 and the Performing Arts Center we didn't have fully open yet, so it did help us with having to move some groups into those areas and having space available. Clubhouse 1 and Fitness Center staff will be reassigned to other clubhouses to cover the void of staff there and to accommodate expanded hours and scheduling. The Fitness Center users will have the option to work out at the Community Center, Clubhouse 5, and we're going to provide information to users to utilize free gym memberships in the area through their insurance. And we are also looking to expand hours here at the Community Center Fitness Center. For the pools, we are balancing annual maintenance along with the closure of Pool 1. And Pool 1 will close on February 12th due to some critical maintenance and repairs that need to get done prior to the project starting. So we've adjusted the pool maintenance schedule to expedite Pool 5 maintenance to be finished prior to Pool 1 closing. We were able to finalize that last week. And there will be an impact to the other pools while Pool 1 is closed, but we will expand some operating hours as well to accommodate people. And we will open Pool 6, which isn't great for lap swimming, but at least the people that go and float or for therapeutic reasons will have a pool to go to for that. And schedules are changing often for the pools, so we do encourage people to check those schedules regularly before dropping in. And activities such as bocce, petanque, mini gym users, archery, and shuffleboard will be closed during the project, and we don't currently have alternatives within the village for those groups. We are looking at purchasing a volleyball net that can be used in the grass at Clubhouse 2, We will have to balance rentals at Clubhouse Do because they do have access of that area during those rentals. So we will have to communicate with users for that. And I think there has been a rumor that we might be putting a concrete pad out for a volleyball court. That is not something that we have planned to do. So it would be subject to the weather and the elements for volleyball. Play may also be restricted, as I said, based on the rentals. And we're also looking at local alternatives surrounding cities that have bocce courts and such. Archery is a little bit further drive, but we do have some alternatives for people who can make that drive. The library and the History Center are the only facilities that will remain open. And we're hoping to work with the projects team to look at the access to the ADA parking on the side of the library. Currently, it's a one-way in, out loop. Part of that loop will be closed during construction, so we have to make some adjustments to make that safe access. And other than that, if you have any questions, please let me know. We're working hard to try and move everybody, but we understand it is going to be a disruption for many people. We didn't take this decision lightly, but we are hoping that it goes quickly and that people are satisfied with the result at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. When and how will people be notified of specific changes?
Specific changes
And
such
alternatives,
as,
for instance.
So user groups, rental groups, and Emeritus are being contacted directly right now. We have had some blast reports with the closure. Clubhouse supervisors are communicating directly with user groups. So that's been our main target, but the word is definitely out.
Right, and I would also suggest that the communication department be part of this
Yes, they have been
outreach,
involved.
so that we reach everybody, not just those who are user groups today, but those who may wander in and want to also work out or something like that. So.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good. Any comments? Great. Yeah, it's long coming, but Clubhouse One renovation, I think when it's done, will be a joy to all of us. But we've got to go through this in order to make it happen. So thanks again for all your work that you're doing. All right. Next. B. Yeah, B. Thank you. May entertain a motion to approve the updated room rental fees and the fee process. We're on 28-day notification from the December.
Okay.
Are there any motions?
Resolution 90-23-XX, room reservation rate pricing policy. Whereas according to Resolution 90-12-132, which established guidelines for shared costs and fees, certain fees can be imposed upon users of various recreation facilities in order to control crowding, to minimize overusage, and to recover operating costs. Whereas the board periodically reviews fees as part of the business planning process to determine adequacy of revenues and shared costs. Now, therefore, be it resolved January 2nd, 2024, that the board of directors of this corporation hereby adopts the following revisions to the room reservation rate pricing policy. Resident room reservation fee. Number 1, an equal hourly rate will be applied for private party, club, and church religious reservations. 2, a resident room reservation fee shall be charged for the amount of time required for the use of a reservable room, beginning with a 2-hour minimum and increasing in hourly increments thereafter, with large balloons and main lounges requiring a 4-hour, large ballrooms and main lounges requiring a 4-hour minimum. 3, a setup fee shall be charged for the time blocked out prior to and or after each reservation necessary to prepare or clean up the room, during which the room is not available to other users. Number 4, and this is where the change is, the reservation and setup fees shall be billed hourly. The per hour rate is calculated using a consistent 0.2130 cents per 100 square foot of each of the reserved rooms. Annually, the per 100 square foot rate will be adjusted up or down based on the year-over-year change in budgeted operational expenses, as defined in the 2019 versus the 2024 room rental expense comparison for recreation clubhouses. Number 6, the charge for Performing Arts Center auditorium event with admission shall be a flat fee of $474 per day and will be adjusted annually, again up or down, based on the year-over-year change in budgeted operational expenses as defined in the 2019 versus 2024 room rental expense comparison for recreation clubhouses. I'm not going to read all the changes. There's a massive chart here which is available online showing every single change for every single room that's rentable. And the reservation exception rates, a rate that is different from the resident rate shall apply to all room reservations that meet the criteria of the exception rate as defined in the GRF Recreation Department policy. This rate shall be applied as follows. 1, an exception room reservation fee shall be charged for the amount of time required for the use of a reservable room, beginning with a 2-hour minimum and increasing in hourly increments thereafter, with large ballrooms and main lounges requiring a 4-hour minimum. 2, in the case of the Performing Arts Center auditorium, the exception rate room reservation fee shall be charged on a daily basis. 3, a setup fee shall be charged for the time blocked out prior to and or after each reservation necessary to repair or clean up the room, during which the room is not available to other users. 4, the exception room rate, reservation fee, and setup fee shall be based on the lowest hourly rental fee charged for similar facilities outside of the village, but in the local area, and rounded up to the nearest dollar. 5, the Performing Arts Center auditorium. The exception rate shall be based on the lowest daily per-seat rental fee charged for similar facilities outside of the village, but in the local area, and rounded up to the nearest dollar. 6, the exception rate room reservation fees will be adjusted periodically on the basis of changes in the external rental fees and the percentage discount, then reflected on the fee schedule. Resolved further that this resolution shall be effective February 1st, 2024, at which time Resolution 90-19-62, adopted December 3rd, 2019, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I move that we approve this resolution, the 28-day notice having been met. Juanita seconds.
It's been moved and second. Any comments? Kush, you had comments?
No. I've got a question. Why does it start on the 1st of February instead of 1st of January? Because you're going to have to calculate the old rate for 1 month and then the new rate for the rest of the year.
Okay, we're going to get an answer.
Good morning. The reason why we had to go with a February 1st timeline was in order to accommodate the 28-day review and allowing the membership time to accommodate the change, as well as we had some, that was the primary reason, was the 28-day review. We needed to have the approval today, hence why we couldn't start with January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask the question and further. Sure. Can it be activated today?
Sure.
Okay. So if we will make that change to January 2nd,
Oh, okay.
that would,
Is that
instead of February 1st,
an amendment?
that's an amendment?
Anybody
Okay.
against it? Any objections?
Any objections to the amendment? Hearing none?
creates no problems to change that?
That's what I ask.
I mean, originally we had planned for a February 1st timeline, hence why, from a coordination perspective, but it shouldn't cause too many problems. We'll get to work today if there's any things that are in progress, meaning in the past couple hours. I can't imagine that being the problem.
Can we hear from Allison on?
The only issue I can foresee is we're not giving much notice to people that the rates have changed. So February would probably work better from that standpoint, but we can certainly get everything in place and have those prices ready to go.
Well, let's be practical. Is that going to be a real administrative issue for you guys? It's not that much revenue change for 1 month.
And most of our user groups have already paid for this year, so this is really for the ones coming in.
This is just for the ones coming in. That's what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask the question again. Is it okay for us to make the change effective today or tomorrow?
I think it's fine. Again, you're just not giving a public notice to everyone that it's happening, starting it today.
Are there any comments? It's been moved in second. The amendment, that is, has been moved in second.
Jim?
Any objections?
Don't you think we need to let the residents comment on it? Or give them a chance to comment on it?
They've had 28 days to comment on it.
Sorry?
They've had 28 days to comment on it.
Okay.
Yeah. This is just an administrative change, actually. But the actual implementation is going to happen. It's been 28 days to comment.
That raises a question, because I don't know. If they had 28 days, and the 28 days included a February 1 implementation date, I would think we probably should stay with what was in the 28-day notice. If there was no date, but just these changes in the 28-day notice, and I don't see a problem. Oh, sorry.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would agree with Bill that, it's not going to make that much difference. And I think people are already aware that it's February 1st. We're not going to make more money in a month.
Okay, well, I will withdraw my amendment.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
I look at the rates, and some of the rates are in percentage pretty high. And why, 10-15% increase I can understand, but why so much?
Well, if those items have been explained now for a couple of months, and so I don't think we need to go back over that at this point, but there are good reasons. There's been several adjustments to the whole fee schedule, which necessitated some fees going up higher than others because we actually changed the approach to developing fees, which now makes it a lot more consistent for the next years, as opposed to what it was in the past. So it was not just a change in rates, but a change in the process of how rates were developed, and that's what caused the change. But again, that's been on 28-day notice. We've had many meetings, 6 months worth of meetings on it. I don't want to get into the details at this point.
Are you saying that in the past we were not consistent with the increase in cost, and now we are trying to recover all of a sudden?
Yeah, we've made some adjustments into how it's being done.
Yeah, but that will be a big effect on some clubs who are going to rent.
The club, everyone has been apprised of it, and the clubs, who are basically the ones who are mostly impacted by it, have already made the adjustments in their dues and whatever other revenue sources they have. So they've actually made the adjustment, which is why they're not here. Yeah? Good question, though.
One final question. How is a day measured in the PAC for rental? For renters who are charging a fee? It says for 1 day it's 400 and whatever. What is a day? I mean, midnight to midnight?
That's a day.
Generally, the facilities are 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., but it would be for the duration of their event.
So it's within one calendar
Yeah.
day?
Yeah, usually at the Performing Arts Center, I would say it's,
9 to 5.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe 11 to 8. It just depends on the event.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are you going to open it?
All right, are we ready for the vote?
How do you do that?
I think
You
we
just
do
push
it.
it.
We do it, we just,
Can.
okay.
Just push. Push.
Oh, God.
Let your fingers stay on a little longer. And if it,
Director Rosa, can I have your vote,
It
please?
doesn't like me.
you got it. Look up.
I got it?
Thank you.
Look up there.
Oh, my touch screen isn't working at all, but I'm voting yes. I've tried, there's nothing there, and I can't get the
It doesn't
agenda
work.
either.
Okay. Who is-
Director Horton, your vote. Okay, and Director Millman? Thank you.
Okay.
Motion passes.
All right, motion passes 10-1. All right. All right, next item on new business is a discussion of, I'm sorry, this is still unfinished business. Update on committee appointments. June?
Go. Okay, Resolution 90-24-XX, GRF Committee Appointments. I'll read only the changes. Resolved January 2nd, 2024, that the following persons are hereby appointed and ratified to serve on the committees of this corporation. Community Activities Committee has added Reza Karimi as an alternate from 3rd. The Finance Committee has eliminated Rainer Rothberg as chair and added Martin Rosa as a regular member and William Cohen as chair. Sorry. ITAC is the same. Sorry. Landscape Committee, Andy Ginocchio for alternate for 3rd has been eliminated, and Reza Karimi has become the alternate from 3rd. The Maintenance and Construction Committee has added James Cook as the alternate from 3rd. The Clubhouse Renovation Ad Hoc Committee has eliminated Moon Yun, alternate from 3rd, and added Reza Karimi as the alternate from 3rd. Media and Communications remains the same. Website Ad Hoc Committee remains the same. Broadband Ad Hoc Committee remains the same. Mobility and Vehicles Committee, Rainer Rothberg has been added as chair for GRF. Egon Garthoffner has been removed for GRF. Juanita Skillman has been removed as chair, remains on the committee. Jim Cook as alternate for 3rd has been eliminated. Reza Karimi as the alternate for 3rd has been added. Security and Community Access, Reza Karimi from 3rd has been added. On the other committees, Disaster Prep Task Force, Eric Nunez and Juanita Skillman are now, for GRF, are now co-chairs. Lagoon Woods Village Traffic Hearings remains the same. Select Audit Task Force, Rainer Rothberg is removed as chair from GRF, and William Cohen is added as chair from GRF. The Executive Hearings Committee remains the same. Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee has added Reza Karimi from 3rd. And that's it. The correspondence remains the same. LC, El Toro Water District, still Juanita. Resolved further that Resolution 90-23-70, adopted December 5th, 2023, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I move that we accept this resolution. Need a second? Kush seconds.
Moved in second on the
I have a question.
question.
The traffic hearings. I believe I'm chair, or I'm the GRF representative, and Kush is the alternate, but it's not listed as such. Our charter says we can have only one member from each of the corporations on that committee. We can have, the others can be an alternate, but we do not show him as an alternate.
I'm sorry.
On the others, we have an alternate for everyone.
What page? Oh, okay.
Which committee was that?
Traffic hearings. Say that again, Juanita.
Yeah. The traffic hearings, according to our charter, we have one member from each of the associations. According to this, we have two, myself and Kush. One of us needs to be the alternate. I'm hoping it's Kush because I have been on this committee forever and I would like to remain.
It's up to you, Jim.
The other corporations have all specified alternate.
It's also true for Mutual 50.
Yes.
I
Ryan?
just said you.
Is it listed on that page?
Jim?
Okay.
4 of
It
6.
lists 2 for Mutual 50, so Glenn should be the alternate?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is traffic, you think?
It's Laguna, yeah, traffic hearings. It's on page 4 of 6. Page on the bottom. Keep going. Be on your left.
And same thing is true for United. It has 2.
But one is an alternate. Vida is the alternate.
Okay.
Maggie is the member.
So what we need to do is to make Kush the alternate
Yes.
And Glenn.
and Glenn the alternate.
Okay.
Jim, is that okay?
Let's do that. You said you prefer to be the chair or the representative?
The representative, yeah, because the chair alternates. Every month we have a different one.
Sure.
Did you find it, Jim?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll accept the amendment.
Okay, that's been accepted. We're ready to vote. Are there any other questions or changes? Okay. Okay, we need to vote.
All right.
Director Rosa and Director Carpenter, can I have your votes, please? Thank you.
Okay. Ready for the vote?
Will we send out a new amendment of this list?
Yeah, it'll be changed, Kush. It will be changed.
Director Carpenter, can I have your vote, please? Thank you. And we're just missing Director Rothberg.
Missing one.
Yes?
Rhino?
You have to vote on your screen.
Who's missing? Okay, good. All right, motion passes 11-1 for committee assignments.
No,
11-0. I'm off my game. Okay, next is the new business, item 12, which is entertaining a motion to approve the drop-in lounge television program policy. Can you read that, please?
Resolution 90-24-XX, drop-in lounge television programming. Whereas the drop-in lounge located at Clubhouse 1 is open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., and is a gathering area for residents to have a cup of coffee, socialize, work on a jigsaw puzzle, read a magazine, conduct work, and/or relax. And whereas altercations and arguments occurred among residents who had conflicting viewing preferences and interests resulting in security being called to the lounge on several occasions, which hindered the enjoyment and necessitated the removal of the television for safety purposes on Monday, December 17th, 2018. And whereas on March 14th, 2019, the Community Activities Committee passed a motion to reinstall the drop-in lounge television with restricted programming and closed captioning to Village Television, TV6. And whereas since the reinstallation of the television, board members and staff continue to receive complaints regarding access to preferred programming and restriction of use of the remote for control of volume and channels. And whereas staff proposes the following viewing schedule for the drop-in lounge television, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. each day. And the Community Activities Committee reviewed and recommended this Clubhouse One drop-in lounge television programming on December 14th, 2023. So Monday would be HGTV, Tuesday National Geographic, Wednesday Turner Classic Movies, Thursday the Food Network, Friday the Discovery Channel, Saturday TNT, and Sunday Lifetime. Now therefore be it resolved February 6, 2024, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the aforementioned Clubhouse One drop-in lounge television programming, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this resolution as written. I move that we accept this resolution for discussion purposes and postpone the final vote for 28 days per Civil Code 4360. Ryan, seconds.
Moved in second. We're ready for the vote. Okay. Okay. All right, motion passes 10-1. Next item is an open discussion on committee goals. And I thought, obviously, the committees haven't met for this year, but I thought it'd be a good idea to discuss whether or not the committee should come in with some committee goals for 2024. And I would leave that up to the committee chair. But just thought we would just hash it around and discuss it today to make sure that everybody's on board with it, or what would be their preference.
I'll start.
Sure.
If I may start with communications?
Sure.
Media and communications. One of the things we're going to be doing is making sure that we coordinate, the communications coordinates with everybody we could possibly think of. Although we put out lots of information, we want to make sure that we get more responses on our information. So that's one of our goals, is to make sure that it's reaching the audience and people are responding to it. Secondly, one of the things that's going to happen with our committee is that we're going to meet quarterly instead of every other month. Our reports are usually the same each month. How many things are open, how many people are responding. We have regular reports on this, and we'll keep track of what's happening with TV6 as far as the responses and viewing. So that's our report.
Okay. Any other committees?
Yeah. All I can say is that our goal is to make it as painless as possible, the close down of Clubhouse One. That's it.
So we're going to come in, obviously they're coming in with a strategy to do that, so.
Yes. We do.
Kush?
read a little, couple sentences that were handed over by the landscape department since I'm going to chair the landscape. Sorry, since I'm going to chair the landscape department committee, I have a few lines that were provided to me because we haven't had a meeting as yet. So Aliso Creek has been cleaned up and we made sure the channel had the space required with the rains coming. The staff has removed all the seed pods on the monkey puzzle trees. These pods can weigh up to 3 pounds.
If I may interrupt you for a second, I think you're reading a report as opposed to establishing goals for 2024. I think you're reading a report of items that have happened.
Correct.
As opposed to what your goals would be, how to.
So I don't have those goals as yet. We haven't met yet.
Yeah. Martin?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Very badly.
Great. Just a goal that we have for the broadband ad hoc committee. I wanted to interject that, of course, there's a lot of activity going on right now with respect to us finding a preference of what we want to do with the broadband system that we have, whether we are going to partner or if we're going to build or leave it alone. And the main thing is that, and it's got to be, I can't reiterate this, is that we don't have.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
We lost your audio.
We lost the audio. I think most of the activities for broadband at the moment. Martin, is it?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you back. But is it true that a lot of the activities that are pre-planning activities for broadband are not yet we're not fully all aware of at the moment?
Right, we are on a fact-finding mission to determine how the direction that we go, how it will affect the community with respect to costs in providing internet streaming only, whether we own it or we partner it. We do not have a preference yet. And, we're actively seeking what it's going to take to do that. And our goal is to get that all nailed down and make that recommendation to the board as to the direction that we need to go.
Okay. Is anyone else? Juanita?
I think as most of the chairmans, our initial thing is to go over our charter with our new committee members and make sure that they understand what the committee is all about. And if there are any changes that need to be made to the charter, we can recommend those and bring them to the board. But with most of the committees having new members from not just our board, but from the other boards, it's important that they understand what our charter says, what we're supposed to be doing, and how we're supposed to be doing it. And I assume everybody, such as myself, has met with the VMS staff that we work with to look at that for the coming year.
Thank you, Juanita. In fact, that's what I think each committee chair should meet with the appropriate staff and go through the charter and determine whether or not there should be any updates or changes given the direction that we are moving in. One of the things that I've been talking to Joan about is that for GRF to have more consistent communications. And I noticed that our communications have been not always pointed and not always directed towards giving a lot of information that the residents need to have. And we've got roughly 7 or 8 different communication media that we need to take advantage of. The Breeze, we've got the newsletter or the email that we send out, there's the blast. Of course, the board meetings, we've got TV6, we've got the website, and we have town halls. And so what we're trying to do this year is to make sure there's a lot of things, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, there are a lot of things that are happening for 2024 that have perhaps never happened before. And so we've got to make sure that we're communicating adequately to all the residents so that they know what's going on and how we're making adjustments to what's going on outside of our community that impacts us inside this community. And be a part of those decisions. That's critical. Be a part of it. As opposed to coming in afterwards and making comments on it. So we want everybody to go with us. So that means we've got to communicate, but communication is 2 ways. And which means that when we put it out there, we need to have the responses as well as the support and help that we need to make everything come to fruition. So we're taking an active role to communicate better this year and for the future. We've got all kinds of communications approaches that were new, that 10 years ago weren't as available as they are today. So we're going to take advantage of it. So again, are there any more committees that would like to comment on their? One of the things I'm going to ask is is that all the committees, I'm going to give a little bit of a kind of a format. Go through the charter. Make sure there are no changes to your charter, and then we can start from there. So we'll do that under separate cover, and then let everybody know. Okay, next.
5-minute break.
5-minute break. Good.
Hey, Paul?
Yes.
I think I'm going to have to dial in instead of zoom in order to see the rest or to take in the rest of the meeting.
Is that for open and close or just for open?
For open and closed. I'm having some
Surveillance system, and so that's been a lot of fun. But I mean, those walls, I'm drilling through these concrete walls. The crew's coming along good.
My roommate here is having. And
I got to. And it's really, and then I got to.
Oh, we're just chatting.
Just waiting for the meeting to start.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We're back. And I guess we'll move on to committee reports. Let's see. We'll start off with the Finance Committee and the Treasurer's Report. So, Director Cohen.
All right, thank you very much. I have a series of slides here that comprise the report. The first slide here is includes all revenues and expenses, including those designated for services.
Is your microphone?
It is. Am I not echoing enough?
Yeah, move forward.
All right. Now it's going to feedback. Okay. Somebody needs to turn this down. There you go. Thank you. I said that this first slide includes all revenues and expenses, including those designated for reserves, investment income, transfer facility fees, and the GRF reserve portion of the HOA fees. Through the reporting period of November 30, 2023, GRF had net revenue of excuse me. Is that 4,267,000? This is just written in a way I'm not tracking. Okay. 4,267,000 with total revenue of 46,292,000 and total expenses of 42,025,000. GRF was better than budget by 2,166,000 with total expenses coming in lower than budget by 2,166,000, primarily due to open positions throughout the organization. I believe those are payroll, correct?
Correct.
All right, slide 2. This chart displays the operating fund, which excludes the non-operating revenues, expenses, and depreciation. This report shows a favorable variance of $1,696,000 through the reporting period, with expenses better than budget by $1,947,000, offset by non-assessment revenue being worse than budget by $251,000. Slide 3, please. This slide reflects the current market value of the GRF Reserve's discretionary investment portfolio compared to the original market value at the time of inception. The current market value of the GRF portfolio is $19,185,000 as of November 30, 2023, compared to the value at inception of $19,031,000. Year to date, the market value increased by $976,000 or 5.4%, and increased by $154,000 or 0.8% since inception in 2019. In November, the market value increased by $89,000 compared to the prior month. Mr. Chairman, there was something that you had wanted to raise on these issues. Where does that fit in? There was something you had wanted to raise. I just wanted to know where you wanted to fit that in.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to footnote that as of December 31st, the value of our portfolio is $19,277,000. And that's a year-to-date or full-year increase of $1,068,000, or 5.9% this year. And if we go back to the October period, which was the low period, which was the time when we were discussing discussing whether or not we should sell the bond funds and go into bonds at that time, we decided to wait and take the market value increase in the bond funds before moving into the bonds themselves for the treasuries. So as a result of that, our 15-month increase was $1,497,000, or a 6.7% increase during that time. So it looks like our strategy of waiting for the bond funds to jump market value paid off for us.
Thank you. All right, let's get to the next slide. All right. Of the $19,185,000 portfolio value mentioned in slide 3, $18,953,000 is held in our reserves portfolio value. In addition to discretionary investments, the reserves fund assets also include non-discretionary investments of $8,211,000. Payables and other total of $244,000, resulting in a net reserve balance of $33,216,000. Next slide, please. Back to the operating fund, which has had a more significant impact on HA assessments. This slide shows that our most significant operating only variances by category, with green bars representing favorable variances to budget and orange bars representing unfavorable items. So favorable, overall we had favorable variances in employee compensation and related of $1,571,000, primarily due to the various vacancies in general services for janitorial positions, bus drivers, and pavers. In addition, security service has open positions for security patrol officers and gate ambassadors, and there are various open positions throughout the organization. Recruitment is in process for all open positions. And we have materials and supplies of $279,000, primarily due to overall accrued expenses for 2022, for inventory items at the warehouse and less fleet maintenance materials that have required replacement, such as tire valves and tires. There's a slight overall offset in aquatics for pool chemical supplies that were unbudgeted in 2023 in error. All right, and we have other operating expenses of $275,000 due to unused contingencies for training and education, recruiting fees, filing fees, and permits and uniforms. Various open positions throughout the company affected some of these items. In addition, the variance was furthered by due to the timing of staff and volunteer support, which was budgeted evenly throughout the year, but a large amount takes place in December. I saw unfavorable variances. Outside services unfavorable for $297,000 due to Hyatt credit card transaction fees and aquatic expenses compared to budget. At the time of budget creation, it was assumed that both the transaction and credit card fees for all merchants would be passed on to the residents. However, only the credit card fees and not the transaction fees are passed on to residents when the transactions are processed on ActiveNet. We do not pass on credit card fees for transactions processed on WorldPay or other platforms at this time. Aquatics budget assumed the lap pool would not be staffed by lifeguards, which was not ultimately approved. Then we have utilities and telephone unfavorable of $225,000, primarily due to high electricity and natural gas costs amongst the departments during the first quarter of the year. Water provided a slight offset with lower expenses than anticipated due to 116% more rainfall than in recent years. Trash expenses were also lower due to the right sizing of trash bins at the service center. All right, let's go to slide number 6, please. All right, this slide shows the sources of revenue other than assessments, such as fees and rentals. To date, we have received just over $9,200,000
$224,000 in non-assessment operating revenue, as shown on this pie chart. By category, you can see that the largest revenue is broadband services, which is internet, set-top boxes, ad insertion, and premium channels, followed by golf revenue, clubhouse rentals and event fees, and merchandise sales. Other revenue, which includes class fees, additional occupant fees, equestrian center fees, and RV storage fees, among others, amounted to 14%. These revenues offset costs and help keep the assessments down. Now, was anyone else surprised to see that 54% of this is broadband? That's it. I found that noteworthy. All right, let's see that number 7. This chart shows, as usual, that our largest operating expense is compensation, followed by cable and programming expenses. Of the $37.5 million, including depreciation, these two categories account for 71% of the total operating expense. Insurance, professional, legal, utilities, and fuels outside services make up the remaining 29%. If you consider that cable and programming are offset by broadband revenue, compensation accounts for 67% of the net expense, while insurance, utilities, and outside services amount for 33% of the net operating expenses. Next slide, please. All right, this is a reserve and restricted funds adjusted balances as shown. Starting with the first column on the left, reserve funds have a combined ending balance of $41 million. Restricted fund balances have an ending balance of $4 million. Included in this total are contributions received this year through assessments, trust facility fees, and investment earnings. The second column shows the work in progress of $7.8 million for reserve and $43,000 for restricted, reflecting the amounts paid for projects not yet completed. And the third column represents the resulting adjusted fund balances of $33.2 million for reserve and $3.9 million for restricted. Next slide, please. We have a slide here to show the resale history from 2021 to 2023. Community-wide sales total 700 through November 30, 2023. Most of those transactions generate the trust facilities fee, transfer fee used as a source of revenue for our reserves. Slide number 10. Listing on this slide gives you an idea of where the reserve money is committed. Of the $19.7 million appropriated by the board for various projects and equipment purchases, the remaining encumbrances against our reserve funds is $10.2 million, primarily purchase or replacement of equipment through the facilities. Restricted funds had a total appropriations of $98,000 and no remaining encumbrances. Next slide, please. We compare our adjusted fund balances to historical balances for the past 5 years in this chart, showing that GRF has averaged $27 million in reserve funds and $2.3 million in contingency funds. All right. So this chart is the operating funds for total non-assessment, and I'm not entirely, let me go back there for a second. Not entirely sure why this one is different from the other one.
Is this a repeat of the?
I think it may be a repeat.
Yeah, that's a repeat of the.
Yeah, I think we have 2 repeats coming in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
That's already been.
Yeah, I think we're at the end of the.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we just duplicate some slides here at the end. All right. So that's the end of that.
We call that technical difficulties.
All right.
Okay. And I guess there's Finance Committee.
All right, the Finance Committee report is in the package.
Okay.
This is the notable thing that we did at this.
All right. Okay, next report is,
Well, I want to say one thing. There was an issue involving a resident that had a dispute over fees. That
was
came
that
to.
closed committee? Was that, was that in closed session?
Now that you mention it, it was.
Okay.
I didn't say any of that. Thank you. I think
Okay.
that's the end for me.
All right, I get you. Okay, next is the report of the CAC.
Thank you, Mr. President. November and December events, the recreation-sponsored events were all successful. Santa Paws, the Christmas dinner, to name a couple. Mr. McCrae at the Golf Center reported that everything was great at the driving range and the golf courses. The one thing that was discussed at length was the closure of Clubhouse 1. I guess I can't say it enough, that March 4th, that we're going to shut down Clubhouse 1 for renovations. And it was discussed, and it was agreed that, and the most economical and the safest thing to do was to shut it down for 6 months. It's also the most economical way to get the reservations done. So, like I said, I can't repeat it enough. Clubhouse 1 is going to be shut down March 4th. I'm going to be saying this over and over and over again. And our next CAC meeting is February 8th at 1:30 here in the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Kush, landscape?
Yes, sir. Our landscape committee met, the last meeting was on November 8, 2023, and certain things were discussed. Since then, Aliso Creek has been cleaned up, and we made sure that the channel had the space required with the rains coming. We removed all the seed pods on the monkey puzzle trees. I don't know what those are, but I'll have to check that out. These pods can weigh up to 3 pounds. We are working with MNC to get the wall built for the new charging stations. These stations will be used to charge all the new electrical landscape requirements. The next meeting will be on February 14, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom, and also as a virtual meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Maintenance and construction, M&C? Director Horton?
Hello, again.
You're back.
I am. M&C, that was my first meeting, and Guy West gave a presentation on our project log from 2023 to 2024, and he gave a great overview of the projects that we are currently working on and the ones that are planned. Also, we've retained an engineer to check out the archery building to make sure that the roof isn't going to fall down. Again, we talked about closing Clubhouse 1. And our next meeting for the M&C is going to be February 14th, 9:30 here in the boardroom. Can I go back again? I wanted to mention one little thing that I think everybody would be interested in, is that On the 27th at Clubhouse 5 in January, they're having their bazaar. And everybody loves the bazaars. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Horton, if you don't mind, I did receive a comment from one of the former advisors, and he was upset that he didn't know that he was no longer an advisor. Carl Randazzo has put a lot of time and effort over the years, and not only being a board member as well, but an advisor to MNC. And so while I apologize for you, I said it was an oversight, but one of the things that we allow the committee chair to do is to pick their advisors. And at that point, you had chosen a different advisor, and you only allowed a couple. So Carl was not one of those, but that was not a slight on Carl. That was just what your preference was, given the opportunity for another person to become an advisor. So I want to publicly apologize for the way that was handled. Not for you, but for us, the board. So we do appreciate all the contributions that Carl has made throughout the years. And so it was not meant to demean him or his contribution.
Yvonne, when is the bazaar? Say it again.
Pardon?
The bazaar
Oh, the 27th.
of what month? January.
That's way.
January 27th. Thank you.
And as for Carl, it was an oversight, and I do apologize myself. I thought that he had been notified.
Thank you. Okay, next is Clubhouse renovation, Clubhouse renovation ad hoc committee. I guess that's you.
Yeah, so the meeting, the next meeting is tomorrow morning at 9:30 here in the boardroom. As it's been mentioned over and over again now, March 4th is when we shut down Clubhouse 4, and that is contingent on getting the permits from the city. Then a 24-week shutdown would take us to August the 5th, and M&C is going to request then one additional week to resurface the parking lot and the parking areas and then restripe them, because they'll probably be significant, not damage, but wear while the construction is going on. So that would take it to August the 12th.
Okay.
Thank you.
And next is the Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee. Of course, that's me at the moment. And we did meet for the first time as an open committee. And at that time, we discussed actually to define the problem. So we had lots of definitions of the problem, but I think we came to a couple of conclusions as to what the problems are. The next meeting, we are going to deal with the statistics associated with the possible closing. That is, what the numbers would look like for recreation, what the trends are, and hear from the impacted staff departments as to the impact of what the decisions that we may make, or the recommendations, I guess, from that committee may come out. So it should be a good meeting. I'm also going to lay out a schedule tomorrow of when I think we need to come to conclusions, and it's going to involve what we expect to accomplish at each one of the meetings. And so we reach a decision point at some point in time. We've been dealing with this particular issue for almost 2 years. Actually, it goes back 5 years, because it's Building E. So we've been dealing with Building E for 5 years. At any rate, so we need to come to some conclusions, and that's what we're going to lay out. So the next meeting is tomorrow, in fact, at 1:30. So looking forward to seeing everybody here. Okay, next is the Media and Communications Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Media and Communications met September 18th, 2023, and our next meeting will be Monday, January 15th, 2024, here, 1:30 in the board meeting. We have decided, and it will be announced at that time, that we're going to be meeting quarterly. So our meeting on January 15th is the first one, the next one will be April 15th, the next will be July 15th, and the fourth one will be October 21st. At the meeting on the 15th, we'll be discussing or reviewing the charter and firming up our goals for 2024. The website ad hoc committee met on May 22nd, 2023, and our UI is in the process of gathering final information before beginning to make massive changes to our website. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to happen this year, and so look forward to that information coming through. And that's the end of my report.
Martin?
Yeah, good morning. Hello, Martin Rosa, the Broadband Ad Hoc Committee. Update, we had a meeting scheduled for December 14th as that got canceled, but we had been still meeting with staff and has been helping to get the RFP and its addendum out the door for evaluating proposals that are what we are going to see as being the best fit for our community. Excited about we're moving along really well right now, and we've got some big things planned here coming up very soon with respect to walkthroughs and evaluations and a couple of dog and pony shows. So I think it's going to come down to an interesting some interesting decisions that we have to make. And that's all I have right now for the broadband committee.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mobility and Vehicles Committee, Director Rothberg. I'm sorry, can you turn on your mic?
I have no report. We did not meet.
Did not meet. Okay, it says here that the next meeting is February 7th, 2024 at 1:30, and that's in the boardroom. Okay, next is Security and Community Access Committee, Director Skillman.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Security and Community Access Committee met on October 25th, and there were a number of things that are looked at, particularly having to do with safety and crosswalks and a number of things like that we are looking at as we go into 2024. We will be reviewing our charter because there's been some confusion as to just exactly what that committee is responsible for. And so that's one of the main things that we'll be looking at. Plus there are at least 2 or 3 other documents that have to do with security and community access that are quite outdated and need to be brought up to date. So that's what our initial focus will be on. Our next meeting is February 28th, and it will be at 1:30 here in the boardroom. I guess I can go right into the traffic hearings. The traffic hearings in December were canceled. We didn't have enough, and we had a number of people that were out of town, et cetera. So our next traffic hearings will be January 17th next week, and then we'll get back on our regular monthly schedule. And that's my report.
Okay. Director Millman, the
Executive Member Hearings Committee. The committee met on December 7th, 2023, and our next meeting will be this coming Thursday, January 4th, 2024 at 9 a.m. in the Willow Room.
Just so everyone kind of understands what that is, I mean, executive member hearings is...
disciplinary.
Compliance.
So could you just explain?
Do my best.
There was a meeting.
Yeah, there was a meeting. It's a disciplinary committee, and it's confidential. So we have various cases that come before us each month.
Okay, thank you. And next is the Disaster Preparedness Task Force, Director Skillman.
Thank you. The Disaster Preparedness Task Force met November 28th. Our next meeting is January 30th. We meet the end of each month, every other month, at 9:30 here in the boardroom. And we have a lot of catch-up that we're trying to do with the Disaster Preparedness Task Force to bring it up to current standards and date. And it's an important committee. There's a lot of volunteerism that goes on that committee, and because there's not a lot of action, because, thank goodness, we have not had a lot of disaster to prepare for. We just want to make sure we're prepared. And when we have particularly good neighbor building captains or cul-de-sac captains, and they have nothing to do for months on end, they drop off. And so our challenge is giving them information and things that they can work on in between, because we don't want a disaster, but we want to make sure that we are prepared for it. So that's our challenge. And we will meet again in January 30th.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next is the Information Technology Advisory Committee, and we did not meet on December 29th. That meeting was postponed, and we will meet on January, I believe it's the 5th, this Friday coming at 1:30. It is a closed meeting, however, we do review and report openly what's going on. It really is to get updates on where we stand with our ERP, or Enterprise Resource Planning System, aka computer system, and we're a little bit delayed in terms of the go live date, the initial go live date. We initially were going to be February 1 go live. It looks like it's going to get pushed out a month or two, maybe even 3, and that's primarily because some of our processes that we are redesigning are 40 and 50 years old and require a lot of understanding before they get actually reprogrammed. And so we did expect, to some degree, some delays, and so it's kind of built into the system. As a result of changing some of these items early, it may help us in the future to move some items up. So we're not saying that the entire process will be delayed. However, the go live date for the first segment looks like it's going to be delayed. Next meeting again is on the 5th of January, and the meeting after that is on the 26th of January. Okay, let's move on down to director comments. Any director comments? We'll go around.
Good meeting, Jim.
Reiner?
Okay, have you got that email? Yeah, I wanted to make a comment about expenditures, and it's in the spirit of the directors training meeting we just had, where we have certain responsibilities. So for example, we're going to replace some tables of the clubhouse 5, I'm sorry. And the first of the 2 pictures shows you this is a setup that was in progress. I took a picture of it, of those round tables. These things are like new tables, yet I was told that they were scheduled to be replaced. At the same time, in the back of the room, other tables were being set up, which is the next picture. You can see that's the rectangular table. Most of our rectangular tables in the village are either scuffed up like this or damaged. And the reason they are is because of the way they get transported into place, which I've observed on numerous occasions. Okay? And so I just wanted to make a point. Earlier, a couple of years ago, we replaced some outdoor furniture, Clubhouse 5, that absolutely didn't need it. There are plenty of places to spend money in the village on things that really are necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I was asked to walk into a laundry room in United by a lady that lived right next to it because she couldn't get any action. And she was pointing out the machines, but then I looked at the condition of that particular room, and it was appalling. And that's the whole point here, is we are supposed to be doing the what, and we need to do more of the what. We should not be spending money on things that don't need to be replaced. Okay? And we have lots of discussions in here, and a lot of times we don't know what we're talking about because we haven't gone out and looked. That second table should never have even been set up. And that's my point. We need to have a better, the bottom line of this whole community is how much we assess, how much we take in, and what we do take in, we should spend frugally and meaningfully. And that's my comment. Thanks.
Yvonne? Director Horton, you're next.
Oh. I'm sorry, no comment. Thank you.
Director Cohen.
I have no comment at this time.
Director Skillman?
No comment, thank you.
Yep, Director.
Happy New Year, everybody. Good meeting. Thank you.
I have no comments.
Okay. Kush?
Good meeting. Thank you.
And we'll go online to Director Carpenter.
I have no comments, but I was really tickled to death that I could access the club meeting, our board meeting. And you'll see me at the rest of the meetings.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. You've done a good job.
Thank you. And Director Rosa.
Yeah, good meeting. Good meeting, Jim. And Happy New Year to everyone there. And looking forward to seeing you guys later this month.
Okay. And my comments coming after everybody is, first of all, thank all of you. And also, especially those who are traveling out of the country who are so committed that they spend their time traveling out of the country, take the time out to participate in our board meetings. And I mean participate, not just be there. So thanks again for everybody, and especially our traveling board members. Okay, and the meeting is recessed.
What time did you want to reconvene?
Is that what was
President Hopkins? What time did you want to reconvene upstairs?
What do you say? 12:30? You guys want to meet at 12:30?
It's 11:20 right now. It's 11:20 right
11:20.
now.
How about 12 o'clock?
Okay.
Okay.